name's Jonathan Clark. I'm the founder of HGE and the author of the book Ignite and Unshackle the Latent Power of You. Now, I made this video for you because I want to pull back the curtain and expose some of the myths around the mind tools like law of attraction and hypnosis, as well as the secret and other advanced methodologies employed by life coaches and spiritual advisors alike. And you might not like what I'm about to tell you. So let's start today's meeting of the minds with this. According to that great source of all facts, the interweb, Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, died in 1970 virtually penniless. Of course, naphill.org denies this, but then they would. Apparently W. Clement Stone stepped in at the end and subsidised the Hill Foundation. But still, it's not the success story I'd expect from someone who knows that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Besides, the mastermind concept, which was the big secret concealed in the book, which by the way is a good way to sell a book, was Andrew Carnegie's. Actually came from the Bible in the first instance. So he was just reporting just as any good journalist would do. Yes, wealth means having lots of money. That's the original meaning of wealth. We can play around with new agey metaphorical definitions of wealth all we like, saying that being rich is having friends or having millions of followers or having someone to sponsor us, whatever. We can philosophise around money and wealth all we like, but the bottom line is, in a post-depression era, that's what the book was about. Napoleon Hill wrote about financial money, growing rich, and if you die broke, then you die without money, and thus he did not die rich. It's a fact that spiritual and new age people, of which group I'm a part too, in a way, will make so many excuses for not having worldly success or riches, and they'll give so many explanations for theirs and other failures at becoming rich, while often secretly craving those same riches. And many aren't honest enough with themselves. Or it's the creator's wish that they suffer, or they're relinquishing the physical. Yeah, bullshit. Of course, then there's the weasel clause, the small print. If it doesn't work, then it's your fault because you weren't vibrating the right energy. Listen, you can always use the teachings to excuse away the lack of results after using the teachings. Another clever misdirection is the painfully positive spin. For example, my son's in prison, but he's learning new skills. I'll bet he is. Clever reframes and one-liners that are good on Hallmark cards, but are paper thin in real life, you know? You don't need any condescending messages. You need changes in the real world. In fact, that reminds me of a tumultuous time I had on my last trip to Hawaii, where we watched as the son stole the company from the father, and I was there. Then he used lots of compliance techniques to keep us in line. A few days later, one of my fellow graduates emailed me to ask me for my take on it, so I was honest with her. It was their stuff, it shouldn't have spilled out on us, but it did. It's a shame, it happened, you move on. She then emailed the teacher, and I was told I wasn't to come back because I'm not in alignment with the company. That's not very in keeping with the aloha spirit that you teach. Maybe that's why there were subliminal messages in the backgrounds of the PowerPoint slides then. They didn't like it when I pointed that out. Oh, here's another great urban myth. For a long time, I've heard of the 1953 Harvard study, or the 1979 Yale study, on the effects of written goals of graduates on the long-term performance of people. Loads of coaching, training and personal development providers quote one or the other as the reason why we should set goals. You must have heard the story. There was a study done at Harvard between 1979 and 1989. Graduates of the MBA program were asked, have you set clear written goals for your future? And have you made plans to accomplishment? The result of that question were that only 3% had written goals or plans. 10 years later, Harvard interviewed the members of that class again, and they found that those 3% were way more successful than the others. The ones who hadn't put it in writing were earning on average a fraction of the 3% who were. The 3% who had clear written goals were earning on average 10 times as much as the other 97% of graduates put together. Now, have you had that story before? Well, unfortunately, last year it was revealed there was no such study at Harvard or Yale. In fact, Harvard themselves say it has been determined that no goal study of the class of 1953 actually occurred. In recent years, we've received a number of requests for information on a reported study based on a survey administered by the class of 1953 in the senior year, and a follow-up study conducted 10 years later. This study has been described as how one's goals at graduation related to your life achievements. The secretary of the class of 1953, who had served in that capacity for loads of years, did not know of any such study, nor of any of the fellow class members that he questioned subsequently. In addition, a number of Yale administrators were consulted and the records of various offices were examined in an attempt to try and find the study. There was no relevant record, nor did anybody recall this purported study of the class of 1953 or any other class. This research did not happen. It can only be described as a myth or an urban legend amongst life coaches, consultants and personal development gurus. So if you're in any kind of training or coaching company and they quote this research or study, then seriously question everything else they say. I used to, then I did my research. Well wait, it gets worse. As a graduate of Coach University and having been involved in the coaching world for over a decade, I was pretty disappointed to hear that the average life coach in the UK makes less than $10,000 a year. Now that was backed up by an online survey that I did a few years ago. You might remember my Full Practices project. The world is full of struggling coaches, and these are the guys that are trained to advise other people. If it's so good for me, how come it's not working for you? Wouldn't that cross your mind? Then there's a quote from Morpheus in the movie The Matrix. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Or as Larry Winget says, too much help and not enough self. Listen to every Abraham Hicks workshop, listen to the CDs, reading every Law of Attraction book published, and watching The Secret every night for a year straight won't make a jot of difference until we actually practice what we learn. Oh, and don't get me started on The Secret. What a great title for selling books and DVDs, but with no real meat in that sandwich, if you take my meaning. Here's a great book I recommend. Zero Limits by Hugh Len and Joe Vitale. It teaches a variation of a HUNA technique. In introduction, the author clearly states that the answer to manifesting what you want all the time, without exception, is not to use a mental technique or affirmation. Then he proceeds to give us the one true path, which is a 10-word affirmation. I was on a Law of Attraction site the other day, and I read this quote. It said, "I'm starting to wonder why the positive expectations of people in third world countries often don't manifest in what they need to simply survive, at the very least. Much as I want all this to work, I've truly believed many things that manifested only in very compromised forms, and there's other things that absolutely did not manifest at all. I must say I will always believe that positive attitude is productive for many reasons, and that you should certainly do what feels good and allow life to happen to you, flow, etc. But after the last 5 years I've had, when believing in all of this has been just about all I could hold on to, I'm incredibly disappointed with the fruits of my good vibrations." So I meet so many gurus who talk the talk, but the soles on their shoes are not worn out at all, if you get my meaning. I can see us asking in the future to check the soles of our next teacher's shoes. I'm thinking about due diligence when it comes to our mentors' soles being none of our business. It seems to me that it might very well be my business, since I'm looking for this person for guidance. I might want to see that he's got some tread worn off his boots, or at least a few scuffs. Now in the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, John Gray wrote about filling your tank. Every day you can top up your tank with power-ups and boosts. Reading good books, exercise, watching a good movie, getting a hug, getting a promotion. These act as positives. The other problem is the leeches and the holes in the bottom of your tank. the bad news, the pain, the accidents, the arguments, the leaks that drain you. We all need boosts, and that's why we invest in books, CDs, live programs. But they're temporary top-ups. They're like mobile top-ups. We use them up and then we need another one. Yes, the Firewalk seminar with 10,000 other raving fans will pump you up and make you feel great. I know. I've done it a few times. But it's temporary. Eventually you come back down to earth, and sometimes with quite a bump. Maybe you bought Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and all that happened was you spent $9.95. Know what I mean? A few years ago, I was running a master practitioner course in a nice venue. We had a big training room on the top floor, and just down the hall, we noticed that on 2 of the days that we were there, there was another course running in a smaller room. It looked full and busy, with excited students clinking champagne glasses, and it looked like some kind of dating group. We didn't know. So one of my assistants went in to find out what all the fuss was about, and came back to tell me, and it was what I thought it was. That's cool. We had to get back into the training and carry on with the next part of the course. But later, one of the venue staff was delivering our teas and coffees, and he asked me what I was teaching. And I cheekily answered, and it was a bit cheeky, the stuff that the other group down the hall will turn to when they realise that what they're being taught doesn't work. See, stuff like the law of attraction sounds so seductive and compelling. Just think nice positive thoughts, and money, sex, health will be pulled inexorably towards you like a magnet. Very appealing to Sally Searcher, who, as one of my friends described it, is failed, fat, 40 with a cat. We're back to fairies and unicorns here. It's an easy sell to a desperate marketplace. So what's my point in all of this? If you're like me, you probably feel that you're capable of so much more than you're currently demonstrating. You should be making more money. You should be having more fun. You should be feeling happier and getting better results in your world than you are, right? Yet you feel deep down that you deserve better than you've got, don't you? The truth is, so much of the self-help and personal development world is based on hope, hype and hijinks. So you've no idea what to focus on. If you did know, then you'd be doing it. We buy the next book or attend the next workshop hoping that this will be the one to get that hit and top up the tank for a while, so we can finally have the physical stuff that we really want. The security that money buys, the healthy body, the dream job and the connection with people. That's what motivates us to buy that book or listen to that CD. We're secretly terrified that we'll run out of money and give up on our dreams. And what's worse, anyone can stand the stage and call themselves a coach. Personal development attracts people who crave significance, and it's simple to build up a following of adoring fans who think you're wonderful until the fans get a better offer. There's a lot of ego involved, and there's a very fine line between marketing and lying. Do your due diligence, ask around, ask to talk to existing clients, ask for testimonials, get a copy of their certificates. There are sharks and scoundrels in every industry, including personal growth. So protect yourself. Oh, the stories I could tell you. Look, I spent 25 years studying this stuff. From the basics of positive mental attitude to NLP practitioner, master practitioner, then trainer of NLP, hypnosis, all the way up to being initiated in Hawaiian Huna, shamanism and Western high magic. And I've been through my darkest night of the soul and several arse-clenching periods. And I know it's not all fairies and unicorns, trust me. I have respect for the other methods, I just don't believe in them. And that's because none of them worked consistently for me. See, most people know that they have feelings and behaviours that they need to change, don't you? But most people have absolutely no idea how to do it. And isn't that frustrating? Because no one tells you how to do it. It's all clever one-liners and generic fluffy concepts that sound good, but they only sell hope. They're not based on anything tangible, like law of attraction, or The Secret, or cosmic ordering. Look, reading a fictional novel about some made-up character is not going to make your goals suddenly materialise out of thin air. It's just going to make the author some money so they can materialise theirs. It should be your book you're reading. Then you could increase your income. Or you get all pumped up in a course, but a month later, has anything actually changed? Or are you more out of pocket and even more sceptical? It's about the how, not the why. Someone comes in with a food compulsion and 30 minutes later, it's gone. BBC Radio give me 30 minutes in the green room to cure a spirophobia. Half an hour later, the guy's holding a tarantula. That's undeniable result right there. See, most people are stuck in the why. The therapy client comes in and goes, I'm depressed and I want to know why. See, why is a pretty useless question most of the time. Why? Because it's followed by the word because. And then you get a stream of reasons, justification and story. Even if you find out why you've got a problem, you've still got the problem. That's not progress. We need to get you out of your own head and stop that horrible looping, you know? And knowing how tells you how not to. And that increases choice. And isn't that what you want? More freedom of choice. If you're having health issues or money worries or relationship concerns, you've probably analysed it to death, but nothing's changed. You can analyse the darkness as much as you like. You really need to turn on the light. That sounded quite deep there. I bet you've tried goal setting and visualisation, maybe even some coaching. You want things to change, but you're scared it might. Am I right? Of course I am, because you're normal. Change takes time, effort and pain. Well, that's what we're taught to believe. We think there's more pain in changing than there is in staying where we are. What if it was painless and required very little effort? I don't want you to go through the same frustration and disappointing of that hope and hype cycle, then crashing down again until you gird your loins long enough to take a deep breath and go up again. Can you relate to that? Now, if you're anything like me, you know that you've lots of talent, lots of latent potential, but you don't know how to use it. It's like you've just bought a new laptop. It has the latest version of Windows on it, but you've been used to using the old version for the last 10 years. So you're pressing a few buttons, you're using some of the familiar old programs. You can find them roughly the same place, and they've got roughly the same icons, but the new version can do way more, and you're barely scratching the surface. Listen, do you want the secret? And I wrote my own book before I realised this, so it's not in the book, but here it is, drum roll. Sometimes the conscious mind needs to go through some kind of ritual that it believes in order to give the unconscious mind permission to do what it knows how to do already. It's like the placebo effect. So if you believe that hanging Ronaldo's smelly sock in your money corner will bring you money, it probably will. But the money will probably come from the revenue, by the way. A normal, mundane delivery mechanism. Not gold nuggets under your pillow. One of my teachers said in one of his books that unlike the magic in fairy tales and Harry Potter, most real magic does not happen instantaneously. So if you do some kind of ritual to bring you money, it may take a week or two for the money to arrive, and when it does arrive, it can only come by natural means. Meaning it will be mundane and quite normal, like the 50 quid that your brother owes you. It will not be a pot of gold delivered by leprechauns. Now, we've said that if you wholeheartedly believe in your chosen methodology, it will probably work for you. My question is, can you rely on it, and is it consistent? Listen, I've got more books on visualisation than I ever visualised having. And I'm willing to bet you've been making pictures of what you want in your head, yet you don't have everything that you want. So something must be missing. So what are you up against right now? What are you facing? Most people that I meet have money, health, work, or relationship worries. Or all four. Well, we don't have one solution for work and a different one for money. Because out there you can buy a CD or a seminar or a book for any problem that you might care to mention. I literally have drawers of thank you cards, emails, letters from people to prove it. Honestly, you can change quickly. And it can be fun, it can be painless. You can let go of the past now. You can take a pressure washer to your problems. And are we saying that you can erase them in a week? Is that too much of a stretch? You think that to learn something well takes years? The truth is, you already have all of this inside you. Don't worry, you will be stretched, but that's life. If you don't push yourself to grow, life will push you anyway. Isn't that true? And it isn't about becoming a certified practitioner. You don't have to be a life coach or a therapist or anything. Our practitioner courses aren't about helping other people necessarily. My advice is always do it for yourself first, then you can maybe do it for other people. But you shouldn't be giving a lift to other people when your own petrol tank is nearly empty. Sometimes you need to know when to offer a helping hand and when to move on. You get to drive your own bus. Come in our courses and learn to drive buses. You'll be extraordinary. You'll be the person that you always were before A, you started worrying about it, and B, you were told that you couldn't be. It'll be you Mark II, leaner, cleaner, faster, more effective, more energy, more assertive. A couple of weeks ago I was fortunate enough to do an in-house training at Catterick Garrison in Yorkshire. I got a testimonial from the author of the National Guidance for Quality Assurance in Secure Care, simply because I shared these methods with the teachers there. He described it as transformational. This stuff works. So the next step, if you're curious after this rant to find out more, just enter your email address in the box below and I'll send you some stuff by email. I want to show you what I've discovered and some key refinements to make it even easier for you to use. So please understand, I'm not having a go at the other methods. Well, maybe I am. I'm just trying to save you years of experimentation and disappointment, spinning your wheels and wasting all that time and money on methods that just don't work. What I don't want to see is that the fire in your eyes eventually goes out and you turn cynical and bitter because of all you were promised and it failed to manifest. And I'll finish with this wee story. In the 90s I was asked to help launch a company in Scotland that taught and offered consulting in a particular approach, one that I'd already studied with an experienced teacher of the appropriate lineage. That's why they came to me. Now when I met my future colleague, she was having a stand-up blazing argument in the middle of a health fair. A few years later, I was having a similar stand-up blazing argument with the same about-to-be ex-colleague. So she argued that we were selling people an ancient method. I argued that we were giving people hope. And then we parted company. And I'll finish with this. While Abraham Hicks says that the best way to teach and inspire another is to be a living, breathing example of it, I think it's safe to say that Napoleon Hill taught and inspired many people through his written work. And when we're assuming that rich means vast quantities of money in the title Think and Grow Rich, well, that was certainly the meaning in post-Depression America, but there's other meanings too. Napoleon Hill died not broke, but with millions of followers, people inspired by his ideas, millions of them, and it's still growing. You could argue that he attracted W. Clement Stone to bail out his foundation just in time, in which case it's dying rich. Think about Vincent van Gogh, died without selling a single painting during his life. Does that mean his life was a failure? His art has inspired and filled countless numbers of people, and his paintings are now worth many millions of dollars. In the end, the only thing really worth having is how we feel about ourselves. And if we have all the trappings of success, but we aren't happy, what's the point? Anyway, here's to walking your talk. I hope you walk with me. Take care. Bye-bye.